Ready?
Mhm.
Good morning, everyone. We're Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha Custom Prints with another special episode. This is going to be back-to-back combinations of Red Alpha Mugshot Monday and the Adventures of the Alpha Red. We're back fresh off of an awesome weekend in Austin where we had a gender reveal party for our daughter, and so we went out there to celebrate that event. As you can tell, I got my best grandpa coffee mug, and that's this week's mug shot for Red Alpha Mugshot Monday. And we wanted to talk a little bit about all the things that we experienced over the weekend. Maybe some heartfelt uh, conversations that we might have had, and just kind of make it like really casual, but like what we were thinking, the people that we met that we had met before, and how excited we were to welcome our new grandchild. And the gender reveal is going to come later, unless you're connected with me on Facebook. I'm not even sure if I've uh, I've revealed it on Facebook yet. I was kind of waiting on our daughter to do that before I didn't want to steal her thunder. But yeah, so we were in Austin, and so the reveal was on the party was on Saturday, but we showed up on Friday, and there was a lot of setup that needed to take place. And my wife and I were commissioned to work on the balloon arch, among other things. And it was our first time doing anything like
Mhm.
that, right?
Yeah, it
And
was.
what did you think about that? I mean, came out all right.
It came out all right for our first time. It was we didn't look up any videos or anything like how to tackle it, and our girls were just giving us the supplies that they had, like use this and here's some the glue dots, and which those are pretty awesome.
Yeah,
The
I
glue
didn't even know
dots.
those things existed.
Yeah.
Now I want to see where I can use glue dots in my everyday life, right?
Those are pretty cool, but I think we did a good job setting it up, and they had all different size of balloons and colors, uh, and then other props that we try to put on there, like a big flower and two bees
Two
and
bees, yeah, because the theme was what will baby be? So it
uh,
was all yellows and whites and flowers and bees and things like that. There was a little easel that we had to put together that
mm,
the instructions were probably about, I don't know, an inch by
engineer.
inch.
Yeah,
And so I'm sitting there trying to read, what is this?
I can't even see it with my glasses
Right.
on.
And so I don't read instructions anyway. So I just tossed it to the side, and I was like, all right, it's an easel, so it has to go like this. And we made it work, but um, sometimes you wish that those things, maybe they had a QR code where you can go to a
A
video or
video.
bigger instructions or something. But
Yeah,
what do you expect when you buy the product? It's very inexpensive,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
they're not going to spend more money on the instructions than they do the actual product. But so it was for that smaller easel was for people to cast their votes on what they thought that it was going to be, and so it was pretty cool. I mean, it was just it was fun gender reveal.
Yeah, the girls really had a great. I mean, they had their ideas already, where they had seen them, and they bought all the stuff that they needed. Obviously the cups and napkins and all that, but
The charcuterie, or how do you say
the
it?
charcuterie.
Yeah,
It wasn't a board, but it was in the letters of the baby, where it was cardboard, but it was
that spells baby for those of y'all who.
well, I wanted to let them know that there were separate letters,
Oh, okay.
BABY, and so they filled up, they filled it up with, cold cuts and cheese and fruit. I mean, it was really a really nice spread. I mean, they really had everything,
For
all their
sure.
ideas put together, and it came out great.
Yeah, I was tearing up the cheeses and the fruits and all of that. And one of our daughters, I didn't even realize this, but I mean, she's like a little candy like chef. What would you call
Yeah,
that?
I don't know, like sweet treats.
Yeah, sweet treats. Yeah, I mean, she makes these treats, and she decorates them, and she puts them in a real nice package,
Uh-huh.
and this is something that she just does in her spare time, kind of like a hobby, I
I
guess. and
think, yeah.
and
The
and
it matched the colors, and obviously the theme. It was a bee, and the colors, and it was a Rice Krispie treat squares, and she dipped them in chocolate, and then she drizzled them, and she put a stick in there so that you can hold it, and chocolate covered Oreos in white chocolate, and then also she made a designs on them. I mean, and then she packaged them in cellophane with a little tie, like it was really professional. When she brought them in, I actually thought that she had bought them, and but then now that I remember, she brought them in home containers, and
hmm
she asked me, she goes, "What do you think I should put these? Like, should I put them in the fridge because it was chocolate, or but I didn't even realize that what she had. I thought they were like cupcakes or something.
hmm and they were nice. And I actually set one aside, but I didn't get to eat it, one of the Krispies.
Oh, I gave them to Kendra and Chris
Oh
so they
man.
could try it.
Okay. Well, luckily
Sorry.
it's my daughter, so I'll just request some more. We'll be out there in a couple of weeks for Father's
Yeah,
Day.
maybe she can make you some treats for Father's
Maybe, maybe.
Day.
Yeah. I'm not really big on sweets. I like soda, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my sugar, but I'm not really big on candy where it's like, give me candy. If we're going to movies, get me some milk duds, right?
Mhm.
Um, soda. I need to stay away from that, but soda's probably my preferred, uh, you know, vessel delivery method of sugar. And of course, we like some Round Rock donuts when we go out there. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here. Obviously, you can look at me and know I like sugar, but you know, I also like pickles and vinegar chips and stuff on the opposite side of the
Mhm.
the spectrum. So maybe one or two. I'll request one or two, and then I'll be good to go. Um, for that request. But
Mhm.
yeah, so it was I mean, it was awesome. The gender reveal. We also wanted to well, our daughter asked if we can print a sign for her, just kind of a welcome sign. So whenever everybody came in, they basically, no, I mean, they all knew what the party was about, but
Mhm.
you have to have a welcome sign. So we decided to print, instead of doing it on coroplast or aluminum composite. I
Mhm.
wanted to do something a little bit better, something that can be kind of like a memento of the party, and my daughter and son-in-law, they can hang it up on the wall. So we printed a sign. It was a 24 by 36 sign. It was printed on fabric, uh, with silicone edges, which that's also known as SEG signs, right? And so the SEG stands for silicon edge graphics, right? So that's all it is, just fancy way of saying it's got the silicone so that you can put it inside of these frames that are made for this type of wall art. And so the frames are really nice. It's black, kind of like a uh, I don't know, like brushed aluminum, and so we printed the sign. It looked really awesome. I already blasted social media with
Mhm.
with the product, but it's going to be a new product that we're going to add onto our website, and it's going to be under wall art. So you'll find SEG wall art, and we'll have all the different sizes of the SEG, framed fabric signs that you can purchase right next to the canvas prints, and the acrylic signs that we do.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to do something special. My daughter and everybody loved it. They
Mhm.
they they thought it was really nice, and it came out great. Had the
Yeah.
bumblebee theme, and
Yeah.
everything was according to the way my daughter wanted it,
Yeah.
with the fonts and all that stuff. And so it was just kind of the accents of it, and so yeah, I mean, the gender reveal, got to meet you know my son-in-law's family for the first time, and so we hit it off. It's just having good conversations. Finding out that they like baseball team that I don't like, and so there was a little bit of tension because of that. No, I'm joking. uh, it's just fun to play around with people that from rival teams and things like that. But just good people, good family, good food.
Good
and
sense of
a
humor.
good sense of
That's
humor.
important.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, especially if I'm going to be there because I'm going to crack a joke. And it's not really, I'm not like I don't have jokes like a joke book, and I'm going to try it out this weekend or anything like that. It's just quick wit. It's like if there's a conversation, we watch a bunch of shows, as you guys already know. So I'm going to reference The Office quite a bit, Parks and Recreation, or the cartoons and things like that. And speaking of cartoons, I mean, we're wearing our gender reveal shirts
Yeah, these were
that that
gender reveal.
gender reveal, the Lilo and Stitch. We're still riding off of that thing. Just last weekend, we went to go. Not last weekend, but
The
two
weekend before.
weekends ago for my daughter's birthday. We went to go watch the live action Lilo and Stitch, and I covered that in our last video. But so we were still riding off of that, and so I wanted to have a Lilo and Stitch themed design
Hmm.
so that we can wear it for the gender reveal. And as you can see, it's both genders,
Both,
right?
yeah.
And so, we were going to be okay if it was a boy or if it was a girl. It's not like we wanted to be half girl, half
Yeah,
boy, half
boy.
girl, right? Yeah, because I heard somebody, I said, "What are you team boy or team girl?" And I heard somebody say, "Team both." And I was like, "You wanted to be half boy, half girl, or do you want twins? I mean, how can you be team both?" And so basically, it's okay with whatever the baby came out to be.
Yeah,
And so I think that the way that they revealed it was pretty
it
cool. It's
was
it's
great.
different than what you see.
Hmm.
And so they had I guess video editor, or I'm not sure what that category,
Creator,
video creator. They
creator
put together it's like a Disney themed
intro.
intro and reveal, because it was so it was the intro. Like if any of you watched any of the Disney movies, the first it goes into, like, it's that little river going up to the castle, I guess the kingdom, castle of Disney, and then the fireworks, you know, go off, and then it says the Disney. What does it say? Disney Animated Studios, I think. And so it was that intro, like you're about to watch a new movie, and
Hmm.
then it started singing the song of Entangle, uh, the theme song to
Entangled.
Entangled, yeah. And I haven't seen it, so that's
I
why I
haven't seen
don't.
it
Yeah,
either.
I know what it's about, but well, maybe I have seen it once. Anyways, and so it was the theme song of that, and then it was showing all of the Disney babies, that like the little Zeus and
Bambi,
Bambi,
Dumbo.
Lilo, right? All the little babies, from Disney's, and then a lot of the characters from the Disney movies,
Hmm.
and then it led to like a room similar to like Beauty and the Beast, where it was like the flower inside the vase, but it was a book. It was a book in there, and so the book kind of opened things up, and what else was in the book?
The countdown was
The
from the movie about the feelings.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Okay, yeah, and yeah. So Joy from Inside Out came, and then it did the countdown, and so we found out what we're having. Should
Hmm.
we say it here, or just so we're having another grandson, which is
Hmm.
amazing. I'm excited about that. That's what we were hoping for. We even we have a little box that we created. I call it the box of expectations, and we also have one made for our other grandson, and so we decorate the boxes with the name of our grandsons, and we put like words of affirmation, just thoughts that around the box are decorated. But
Hmm.
inside, almost daily, we come together in prayer, and we put our petitions inside the box. And so for me, whenever I needed something tangible to kind of tie in the my physical expression of prayer, and what I feel is the pathway of uh, of prayer, because even though you have a physical voice that's coming out, there's a spiritual process that's going on. So your prayer is going up to God, and a lot of times, in my prayer life, not just recently, but over my whole life, Um, and I'm sure some of you might feel the same way, but there have been times when I don't know if my prayer is even getting outside of the room.
Mhm.
I don't know if if God heard it, maybe it bounced off of the ceiling fan and went back over here, and I'm over here thinking that thinking that I prayed a good prayer or something, and it's just my limited understanding of what um, of how God does His things. God is everywhere; He hears everything, no question about that. But I still am wrapped inside of this body. And so when I look around, I see obstacles that could potentially, disrupt the flow of my prayer. But when I create a box of expectation, that petition goes right into a box and it's guarded by the structure of the box, at least in my mind, right? And so I was kind of, inspired by the scripture where David says, "I wake up daily and give my petitions to you, and I wait in expectation." Right? There's power in waiting in expectation. Right? In fact, the Bible says that you will have what you pray for if you believe it, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where that comes from. And so I needed to have something tangible, and I needed to be able to open up the box from time to time, look at the petitions, and see where my mind was at that particular time, and then be able to, like, you can even timestamp some of the things. Like, I write the date, but what I'm saying is that you can say, look, we were praying for this, and look at how faithful God has
Yeah.
been. And I can tell you, with our grandson here, our latest grandson, I without a doubt, you could see God's hand moving in this situation, because it wasn't too long ago, whenever my daughter was asking us for prayer because she and her husband wanted to have a baby, and they were having a little difficulty. And so when she asked me, and I said, we'll come together in agreement, so that way God can move in your situation. And it wasn't too long after that. And she even mentioned it at the reveal, like, just kind of, we were sitting down, and she said, she says, all I know, little Ruben, all I know is I asked them to pray. And it wasn't too long after that I found out that I was pregnant. And then this right here is the fruition of agreement. And so, sometimes we struggle with whether something is real or worth your time or anything like that. But once you experience it, no one can talk you out of it, right? No one can talk me out of the power of prayer. No one can talk me out of the power of agreement, of speaking life into the areas that you want to grow.
Mhm.
You can't talk me out of it, because I've already seen it, right? You can't talk me out of the principle of expectation. So these boxes of expectations are going to grow, and we're going to add more, because our family's on the grow, and we got, the things that we're shooting for in our business and in our life are going to grow. So we may have a whole data center, a whole data center of boxes of expectations. Why not? Right now they're
Data
physical
center.
boxes, but we may have our own data center here in Abilene, 933 Hickory. See how they're going to power that. But yeah, I mean, so the gender reveal was really awesome, and I made sure that I made it clear that I got dibs on the first baseball glove, you know, and so that way, it's like, I'm gonna get him a nice glove, I'm gonna get him a baby baseball glove first, but then I want to get him, when if they put him in baseball, I want to, get his glove. And his baseball team is going to be sponsored by Red Alpha Custom Prints. Whatever sport, whatever he does, our grandsons are going to be the team captains, because they're gonna have all the jerseys sponsored. We're gonna sponsor the team. If the team has to go somewhere, we're gonna sponsor the team. We're gonna be there and watch the games. We're gonna be the
Mhm.
loudest grandparents, loudest out of all of them, just rooting for our grandkids. And that's it's a great reminder of what we're doing this for, right? When I first started this business, I knew what I wanted it to be from the very beginning. And so I imagine some of the things that we're walking in right now, and it was all faith, But then, the Bible says faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains, right? It
Mm-hmm.
just takes a small amount of faith to be able to create some amazing things. But I made this post, and it's kind of a sarcastic post. Small faith can move mountains, but not if you're not willing to move your butt, right? It's a partnership. You got to have faith, but you got to have massive amount of actions in order to bring these seeds, that you're sowing to fruition. It takes some work, and so I'm just so happy that we put in the work. I'm so happy that we believed. I'm so happy we didn't get discouraged, along the way, because we could have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But because of that, for over a year straight, we're able to see our kids in Lubbock, our grandson in Lubbock, our kids in Austin, and then pretty soon our grandson in Austin.
Grandson.
We're going to be able to schedule the time off to be able to do that, and that's a dream come true for me, and I know it is for you.
Yes, it is.
'Cause that's one of the things that actually motivated you to transition to a full time position with Red Alpha,
Right.
is the potential of being able to be involved in your grandson's life. I mean, it's
Yes,
the potential,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
And but we put in the work, right? And we're still getting after it. So with the that's the Adventures of the Alpha Reds, the Red Alpha Mugshot. I talked a little bit about the mug, but we stumbled across a place. We don't have this place here in Abilene, but it's called the Human Being,
Mm-hmm.
right? And normally, whenever we go there to Austin, we stop at a Starbucks that is right around the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were tired of having Starbucks, I guess, and we wanted to try some of the other places that we haven't had. So we went to the Human Being, and I got it's really like a white chocolate mocha. But it's called the what is it called? The Starry Mocha.
I think so.
Starry Mocha. It tastes just like the white chocolate mocha, which is good with me, and so it was good. And they put a little bean on there.
Chocolate covered bean.
So, yeah, it was good. I ate it.
It was good.
Yeah, and so we'll definitely be back at the Human Being. Shout out to any of the franchise owners of the Human Being. Um, you know, put a message in our
Uh-huh.
in our thing if
It
you
was
need us
great.
to print anything for you.
Yeah, great coffee. I got just a regular brewed coffee, hot, with cream and sugar, and it was really good,
Hmm.
strong and flavorful.
You you tend to get the regular brew, and
Uh-huh.
I go for I mean fancy or the fancy names, like I have regular brew every day at home, you know, and so I guess whenever we go to these places, the white chocolate mocha is my go to anywhere, and anything like that. But you just stick with the brew. Yeah,
That's what I've been doing recently.
yeah,
Just wanted to taste just like regular coffee and see what the difference is.
yeah.
Because then with the Starbucks, I like Starbucks. It's really good coffee too, just the brewed coffee.
Mhm.
And then we got the coffee beans from Starbucks.
Oh yeah,
It was good, and
that's what's in here right now.
yeah, it's a Starbucks coffee beans.
The espresso.
But I do want to try a local here that I've heard people recommend for coffee beans at the Statesman.
Oh, okay.
So I want to try their coffee beans out.
We'll do that next.
We
Once we
do.
once we finish this bag of beans, we'll go get some more bag of beans, and
More
we
bag of
like to
beans
grind our beans, and
for the
the
coffee.
the coffee. It's a lot fresher like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a.
the stuff out of a can. No offense to anybody there, but it's like after a while, has a like a tobacco taste, cigarette butt taste. It's like,
What's up with that?
yeah, like maybe the first one when you open it, maybe first two,
It's
it's
like
okay,
fresh. I like that
it's
smell.
fresh, but you can also see like little, I call it fillers. It's not just pure coffee. It's like got some little things in it. And that right there always kind of freaks me out because I'm like, what chemicals am I putting in my body? Other than what's in coffee. It's like might be putting in some sort of plastics. you know, it could be
Microplastics.
microplastics. I need to stay off of stay off of TikTok. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Yeah,
Stay off of red pill theories.
the red pill theories, yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, so we went to the human being, and we also tried a place. So, for Red Alpha Food Finds, we tried a Mexican restaurant. Not the first time, but it's our kids. It's their go-to spot for Mexican food. It's called Garcia's Mexican Restaurant, and let me tell you, they got some good food.
Hmm.
They run a good operation there.
Yeah.
You know. Um, so I ordered. Let me see. Whenever we were there eating, I forgot what I ordered. What did I order?
You got the omelet.
Oh yeah, we went for breakfast. That's right. And so we went two times for breakfast. We went and sat in for breakfast, and so I ordered the fajita omelet,
Yeah.
and it had beans and potatoes, and so it was pretty good. Oh, and I had to get a couple pancakes,
Hmm.
and some pancakes because prior to going there, I actually wanted something along the lines of IHOP, because I wanted an omelet and I wanted pancakes
Hmm.
and hash browns. I wanted those kind of things. But I guess you were wanting like more Mexican food, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, for breakfast. And so Garcia's came in clutch. I got my pancakes and I got my omelet, and so it was good.
Yeah.
It
And
was
I
good.
got their potato and egg tacos. They
Hmm.
weren't burritos. And I got some pancakes.
So tell me, what in your opinion, what is the difference between a taco and a burrito? Because so we're in Abilene, and so you know we're first generation Mexican American,
Hmm.
right? And so we're used to hearing things a certain way, right? But then when you come in here, with third, fourth, fifth generation, Mexican Americans, they're calling tacos burritos and whatever they're calling La Popular, LA Pop, they're calling they're not saying it the way it's supposed to. So, in your opinion, what's the difference between a taco, breakfast taco, and a breakfast burrito?
A taco, it's flipped over, and a burrito, it's tucked in.
It's rolled in.
Hmm.
So it's about 2.5 inches difference between a burrito and a taco. So we went and got some breakfast tacos, right?
Hmm.
And it was like my wife was like, "Those are tacos," and I'm like, and so it almost, I mean, it wasn't overlapping, but it was kind of touching, right? And so that very easily could have been a burrito, and so that small thing is what makes a difference. And if you come across the wrong person, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you're calling that thing a taco, but it's a burrito." Most of the things that we're getting are burritos,
Yeah, here, what we've gotten.
right? They call them breakfast tacos, but they're rolled up like a burrito, right? And that's wrong. So doom on you. Shame. Shame for calling them burritos tacos. No. But so yeah, that's the that's the subtle difference. But Garcia's Mexican restaurant definitely has the tacos, definitely has the burritos. Speaking of burritos, we're getting a Chewy's is
Oh,
being built here.
yeah.
Man, we haven't had Chewy's
Chewy's.
in a long time. Remember with
That's
with,
when
with
we,
your brother
over there in
in
Austin,
Austin.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, Chewy's is coming to Abilene, and I'm sure we'll try it out again and order their fundido, their fundido.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to make sure
Queso.
yeah, their queso. I have to make sure I said that right because this is a family friendly podcast here. And so yeah, so we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about it whenever whenever we go and try their foods, and but yeah, for the food finds, if you guys are in Austin, whether it's you're passing through and you need some breakfast tacos, or if you want to dine in, the Mexican food is really good. It's definitely
Hmm.
worth trying. I think it's worth the trip. And and so outside of the gender reveal and the excitement that comes with knowing that you're going to be um, you know a grandfather and a grandmother again. There's
Hmm.
it's like fuel, to your motivation. It's like, man, I have to I have to be intentional with everything that I do now, and not that we weren't intentional or that we didn't have the reason why, but it just adds to it. It's like, let's tighten things up. Right now is a time to tighten things up. Shout out to my old Sergeant Johns. He said it's not time to lighten up, it's time to tighten up. And that those words of wisdom just kind of have followed me all of my life. It's like, you know, it's very easy to settle in, into a comfort zone after you start receiving the things that you prayed for, and that you worked for. You know how they say the blood, sweat, and tears. It's once you start to accomplish it, it's easy to kind of say, "Oh, I've arrived. Let me go ahead and ride off to the sunset," or we can live like this, forever, right? Because it gets comfortable. And don't get me wrong, we still have goals and we still have a lot of work to do. And so we still have to stay on it, just because we have a vision. But we're not, it's not like it used to be. We used to struggle. And so we were built and we were made and forged in the struggle, right? And so we have seen things that will make a billy goat puke. No, that's off of Rambo. And no, I'm nothing that tough. I was born in darkness like Bane from Batman. And so no, it's like, once you've gone through enough, some of these things don't phase you the way that they used to. Your faith elevates. um, I tell my wife, we have been blessed with the gift of long suffering. That's not one of the most desirable fruits of the spirit, let me tell you that, because long suffering means that you can deal with the stank of life. And if you don't know what stank is, go to Urban Dictionary and look it up. Go to any dictionary or whatever, maybe Google it. Look up stank. Sometimes life can act stank and it doesn't go your way, and disappointment and things like that. But if you're able to endure that, maybe you might have the gift of long suffering.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good thing once you reach to where you're not struggling no more, because now you can look back and you can tell people, hey, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, just hold on.
Just hold on a little
Hold
bit
on.
longer. Don't give better, right? And so we had some real conversations with my oldest son. Unfortunately, his job called him up, and he wasn't able to make it to the gender reveal. And my son, being the positive guy that he is, he took it well. I think he also has the gift of long suffering. And sorry, son. But it was like, that's where I kind of I look back at the original like sparks that got me to take the leap into owning a business or starting a business. Is I didn't want no one to tell me what to do. Like, you could take this day off, you can't take this day off, or I know you had this day off scheduled, but so and so who's more important than you, you know, uh, needs the day off, so you need to work, right? And or you can only take an hour lunch, 30-minute lunch, because that's all that we're going to give you. And I just hated that. I just didn't. That was like my original thing. I was like, I rather struggle on my own, calling my own shots, than be under somebody's thumb. And that's just my personal. That was a spark. That was a spark. So it doesn't matter what your spark is, right? Maybe you're good at something. Maybe you got experience. Maybe you're about to have a grandson, and that's the fuel that you need to be able to get encourage you or to give you the courage to take that first step, whatever it is. That reason needs to be strong, right? And so I was talking to my son just about, really proud about how mature he is, because whenever I was his age, I wasn't that as mature as he is when it comes to the corporate world. I was like, man, forget you. I remember one time whenever one of my they tried to give me a talk about conflict of interest, and I'm like, there's no conflict with me,
Mhm.
the conflict is with you, and so needless to say, I didn't work at that job much longer, but it was all just kind of building me um, to be the business owner. I needed to have a story to tell, right? It wasn't something to where the business was already built, and so I'm stepping into a business that's already there, or buying somebody else's business, or buying into a franchise, or anything like that. You know, the plan that God had for me was to build something from scratch, to build something that not only can sustain me, but that can bring my wife over, so that she can be full time and sustain us both. And we're building the foundation so that it can sustain others in our family. So we're having real conversations with our adult children about making the transition as well. And one of the conversations with my son, and I tell my wife, like, that dude's a stud, by the way. In any job or any company that would be able to recruit him, just know that you're recruiting a stud. You're recruiting a go getter, a leader, and so I just feel privileged to be his dad, and to have built something, to where he can see a future in. Right. That's huge. That's huge. Um, because for so long it was only me seeing the vision.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're casting a vision, it's important, first of all, for you, the vision caster. It's important for you to be able to see it clearly. And I've said this before. Anybody who has ever sat in our whether it's our Bible studies, or if I've ever had any type of conversation where we're talking about like what it takes, right, to build something from scratch, I always talk about needing clarity of vision, right? And you've heard me say it over and over,
Mhm.
where you could probably tell the story as good as me. Clarity of vision, right? And you have to be able to see it so clearly that it doesn't matter what what is in front of you, the obstacles that are in front of you. It doesn't matter who's there supporting you, who's not there supporting you. It doesn't matter the resources that you have. It does not matter what it looks like right now, because the vision that you have is so clear that you know exactly what you need in order to make it happen. You may not have the resources, you may not have the contacts, you may not have the experience, you may not be good enough to be able to make it happen at that point. But if you can see it clearly, you can create it. You'll know the steps that you got to take, and then it becomes a little clearer. And then you take more steps, then it becomes clearer. Then that vision, who at one point you were the only one who could see it, it becomes a little bit clearer to where other people can see it. And whenever my wife was considering coming over, I knew that I had built something that now she can start to see the potential of what it can be. Because my wife is not someone who's going to sit there and just like, you know, oh yeah, I see it. If you don't see it, right?
Yeah.
And so she was able to see something, and then at the very least, you can see how serious I was about it. And I'm not a lunatic. I, I I'm not impressionable. If I get something in my mind, I'm like focused on it, right? I don't get distracted, and I'm not chasing squirrels. It's like red alpha, boom. You come to talk to me about another position, another job. You want me to work for you. You want to buy my company. You want to, you got this next thing that is the next hottest thing out there. I don't even want to hear it. If it's not about red alpha, you can't get me out of red alpha. No, it's
Mm.
and I've had people try to recruit me. I've had people want to invest in our business to buy it. I've had people that want me to work in their sales department. I've had people that want to recruit me in their their multi-level marketing things, right? And nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with those things. I'm just saying I've had people that try to recruit me, and I'm not recruitable because I'm all about this business, and I'm all about recruiting people to grow this business into something that we can definitely be proud of, and
Mhm.
not just us, but generations to come. And so that you have to have a clear vision, and you have to stick with it long enough so that the people around you can start to see it as well. In that, whenever they can start to see it as well, and then once they get involved, then now they can start seeing start seeing a little bit of what you were seeing. They
Mhm.
start establishing roles within the company, and then they start dreaming for themselves. I mean, just yesterday, my wife, she bought a book, right? You bought a book and you said, hey, look, I got this book. I'm going to start writing down some of the stuff that I want.
My plans.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you've been you've always talked about, making your plans clear, and that's what the Bible says. And God has plans for us that we can't even imagine. And one of the scriptures is in Philippians, where it says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and um, um,
Like to bless you and
to
not harm
and not
you.
harm us.
Yeah.
And so this notebook that I found it at Dollar Tree.
Hey.
And they had that design on there, and it had that scripture, and I'm like, this is a good book so that I can start writing down my plans.
Hmm.
And so it's plans that for our family, plans for our business, my own plans, maybe getting into a hobby or anything that I can think of. Is I wanted to have something to tangible written, and where I can go back and say, hey, well, I'm doing good in this area. Let me, add more, or check things off.
Yep. Yep.
But you've always made that when you're talking about clarity. Ever since I've known you, and you're talking about owning your own business, you've always been clear on what you've wanted, and you've never wavered on your plan. Uh, from from the beginning, you've added to your plan, but you've never wavered. You never said, no, I don't think it was this. I think it's this. You've always stayed true to what you've planned from the very beginning, and that's very commendable. It's admirable to have somebody like that, that is you're not wishy-washy. You whenever you say something, you mean it. And you go out and you do
Yeah. So
it.
um, I never got the whole, God told me that I need to do this. God spoke to me, and this is the the path that He has for me. You know, uh, so I get that God has a plan, right? And but like I've known people that it's like God told me I need to do this, and then months, years later, they're quitting and they're doing something else, and I have a problem with that because it's like, so did God change His mind, or is God schizophrenic, or what? Because when I knew that this is what God's plan was for me, it was a lot of things just became non-negotiable. This is God's plan for me, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what anybody's opinion is. I felt in my heart that this is where God wanted me to go, and the harder the struggle, the more intense that I got to resolve it, because I knew that if I kept going, that eventually I was going to see the promise of God. And so I was completely sold out to it. And it wasn't like a question like, is this what God wants me to do? I never questioned that. You can ask my wife. I never told her that I want to quit or I'm thinking about. She's never had to encourage me to keep going. She's never had to encourage me to keep my head up or anything like that. I knew from the beginning that this is what God's plan was, and I was determined to see it through. This was going to be a we're going to do it or we're going to die trying thing from the
Mhm.
very beginning. It was always that. And I told my wife, and in a way I was kind of apologizing because it's like it's not easy. It's not easy to be in a relationship with someone that is like that, I think, you know. Um you said that it's commendable. It is commendable, but I'm sure there were times when you're like, man, if you just quit, you can go get a good job. You know, we can we won't have to struggle, and things will be more comfortable and things like that. And those are natural things that I think a person would feel. But you never complained. You never tried to discourage me from following my dreams, and you never made it about yourself. And um, and that has helped me. That has helped me to be able to move forward because if the person that you love is not you know is not like in agreement, sort of speak. It makes it harder because the last thing I wanted to do is put my stuff on you. you know I knew I had a price to pay, but you ended up paying a price by default because you're married to me. And so that's often you know that's often what causes people to fall out. It's you don't realize the price that you have to pay. And some people, you got people to pay the price for you. More power to you. That's great. Some people, you get it at a discount. That's great. I'm not mad at you. That's more power to you again, right? But some people like us have to pay the full price, and we have to pay it up front. Right? Pay it in full, and then we're going to give it to you, right? That's basically what happened. And um so we had to be all in, and we had to put ourselves in a position to where we're basically burning bridges, and there's only one way to go, and that's with this business. And so fortunately, you know I can look back, and now finally I'm in agreement with James, where he says that you can consider it pure joy. I used to like, I used to couldn't wait till I met James. Be like, James, what the heck were you talking about? You considering it pure joy when you go through trials and tribulations. Nobody likes to struggle, right?
No.
But when you look at how valuable the struggle is in order to develop you and into a person that you never thought you can be, or you never imagined that you can be, then you look back and you appreciate that struggle. The
Mhm.
struggle becomes closer to you than a lot of people who may have said, hey, I believe in you. Right? The struggle is the one that develops you, right? And without the struggle, um, the victory doesn't seem as sweet,
Mhm.
right? If someone gave me a trophy and I didn't even have to play a game, I'd probably throw it in the trash,
Mhm.
right? Because there's no price to pay. But because we had to play every down, we had to take every swing, we had to shoot every shot, we had to grind it out every single day. The trophy is valuable, and it's one that I want to hang up for the rest of my life, and I want my kids to see it, and I want my grandkids to see it because it was earned and it wasn't given, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm very proud of. And so we had some serious talks, you know, with my son, and so we're getting after it. We're starting to make plans so that he can transition over, and one day, and so my wife and I have been in discussions about getting our processes down to where we can duplicate ourselves into other people, and so thanks to ChatGPT, we got a lot of work,
Yes.
put in a lot of
Our
work.
third partner.
Our third partner, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all about that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that ChatGPT has helped us with some
We
titles.
don't have
Just
to reinvent the wheel.
right, just go after it. Right, do all of those things that we don't want to do and we can't do as good or as fast.
Yeah.
And it allows us to be able to do the things that we are good at and that we do want to do. And so, but anyways, we're putting together a strategy so that we can reinvent ourselves after 15 years.
Hmm.
So after 15 years, we've grown a good client base. We have some awesome clients in the Abilene area. We have just business that sustains us. It's coming in regularly. We're scheduled out. Like 3 to 4 weeks out all year long, and our schedule stays full, and it comes from laying down a foundation, right? We don't make cold calls. We don't do any of that stuff. We don't do any special advertising. Just the content that we create, and then we show the work that we do, and then our customers being a good referral base as well. Repeat customers and referral base is how we live, and so now we're looking at reestablishing a new vision that will expand our company, and it will involve more people to help us do it, because we're not naive to think that we can do it ourselves. We're about at the max of what we can do ourselves, and so now we're going to recruit, we're going to train some of the best people, and because it's something y'all didn't know, I'm a recruiter. I can recruit. I've read the book, The Law of the Lid. So you recruit up. You recruit people who are better than you. You don't recruit people who you're comfortable talking to, right? If you recruit people that you're comfortable talking to, you're recruiting down. You need to recruit at your level or higher, people that can take your job, that can do your job, and that can do it better. That's the sign. That's a sign of a strong recruiter, and then and a strong leader.
Hmm.
And you were that type of leader, because I would tell you when you were at the health department, I said, man, the people that you're hiring and that you're training, those are some stars,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
They were good. They were good, and for my wife to be their supervisor and their mentor in the position, you know, don't take her calm demeanor the wrong way. She's got the goods too. She's got some greatness, leadership greatness inside of her, and one day, she is going to be talking to a bunch of, I believe, young and aspiring, women that are looking to go in business for themselves, and they want to hear from someone who has been in the trenches. They want to hear from someone who has experienced it, and is not just um, just giving themselves the title as mentor, right? Or business coach, right? You're someone who the title is given to you because of your experience, and so I'm excited to see that, because you, over the last 3.5 years, going on 4 years, you have developed your voice. And I've told you this before, that there are things in this world that will only respond to your voice. And when you develop this, and this is not just to you, this is to whoever is listening here,
Hmm.
it's important for you to develop your voice, right? Because there are things that are out in the realm of glory, in the universe, in the spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it, right? There are things that are floating around that exist that will only respond to your voice. They have a code, if you're technical, they have a code that is programmed to activate, to come alive, and to gravitate towards you whenever you speak. When they hear your voice, it comes alive. And it's like, okay, I got to go to Abilene, Texas, 9:33, because I just heard the voice that I'm programmed to obey, right? And then it starts traveling, right? And you start speaking it, and you start sowing in that direction, and you give life to the thing that at one time was in an invisible realm, and then before you know it, you're holding it in your hand like I'm holding this coffee cup. That is how you manifest things, right? Faith is believing in something that you can't see, but it's something that still exists. It just don't exist in this realm, right? That's where people get it wrong. People think that, oh, I believe, but I guess it's not meant to be because I don't see it. No, believing it exists is only part of it, right? You have to be able to speak that thing into existence. You have to be able to speak life into it, right? This world revolves around sowing and reaping, right? And you have to sow seed, and your word is seed. Your voice is seed, and yes, money can be seed, right? When you help your fellow person out, that is a seed that you're sowing into into that thing, and it's when you sow into a business, that's going to benefit. You're going to have grow a harvest from that. You're going to have fruit for that. But anyways, I can talk all day long about this because
Some good stuff, babe. Good
it
stuff.
fires me up. But this was just it was like a mesh between the Alpha Reds, the Adventures of the Alpha Reds, Red Alpha Mugshot Monday, behind the X's and O's of business. These are all separate categories that we'll sit down and we'll talk about. The behind of X's and O's of business is more of a, where we come together and we talk about behind the scenes things that go along in business. We're not going to tell you how to send an email or, how to create content on social media or how to do cold calls or anything like that. The conversations we're going to have in those episodes are going to be like, how do you keep your relationship intact when you're both full-time in business, right? How do you continue believing on something when there's no evidence that it even exists, right? It's going to be those types of things. How do you still be a good dad and a good mom when you're trying to build a business, right? Those are the conversations that we will have behind the X's and O's, because there's tons of business coaches out there that'll teach you the X's and O's, but the behind the scenes is where the magic happens, right? The conversations that you have in private, right?
Mhm.
How you have to encourage each other along the way, right? And how you have to pray over each other, and how you have to, lay hands to heal, and all of that awesome stuff that no one really talks about, right? The power of sowing and reaping, the power of the tithe. Those are things that we believe in, and words of affirmation, those kind of things. That's what happens on behind the X's and O's. The Red Alpha Food Finds is something. It's a title that is new, but anytime we go out and we're finding a new restaurant, a new place to eat, whether it be a taco truck, a restaurant, or a coffee shop, uh, we'll have an episode that talks about that, and we'll share, some of our favorite dishes or drink, and we'll share it with our audience, and under Red Alpha Food Finds, and of course every Monday, Red Alpha Mugshot Monday. Like I said in the last video, I don't go to jail every weekend and then post my mugshot from being arrested. It's a coffee mug. It's a coffee mug, and so every Monday I'll have a new mug, a different mug, and then something that I'll be talking about. Usually it's just through a post on Facebook, but we may do a couple just Red Alpha Mugshot Mondays and talk about random stuff a couple times a month. We're really busy, so the content creation is a little tough for us to be consistent,
Mhm.
but we're going to try a little bit better because we have a lot to talk about, a lot to share, and we're excited. We don't want to keep it to ourselves. Then the adventures of the Alpha Red are just going to be things that we go out and experience. You know, I'm talking to my kids about Fourth of July already. You know, it's been a while since we've seen the uh, the fireworks in Austin,
Mhm.
and so I want to do that, and so we're kind of working on
Awesome.
a plan. And so that will definitely be an episode of the Adventures of the Alpha Reds. Hopefully, we can have some pictures and some video,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, to add to it. But yeah, that's us. We do these videos, not because we want to at the end of it, we want to end it with a call to action. We want to. It's more of a call to connect. We want you to see that we are just two regular people who happen to own and operate a business, right? We do normal stuff. We're into normal things. We can have normal conversations, and sometimes that matters, right? Sometimes people want to do business with people who can just be a real person,
Mhm.
who can be a friend, that we can talk about something without them trying to sell me a product or service, right? And that's what we're built on. We're built on relationships, and that's how our business thrives, is through the relationships that we've built with the individual and with the companies, right? And that's who we are, and that's who we care about. That's from Tommy Boy.
Oh.
That's right. Red Alpha Custom Prints. We print wraps for the working man because that's who we are and that's who we care about. Zelensky. All right. Anyways, that's it for now. Ruben and Red Alpha. Ruben with Red Alpha. Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha. We'll see ya. Stay classy, Abilene.
Bye. Okay, babe. Stay classy.